Here's a recent project done for a bit of fun and showing you the power of SolidWorks and speed in which you can create something new. We were at a nursery and my son wanted to buy a plant and picked out this baby Venus flytrap. It came in this small white plastic pot. I don't mind the appearance. I like the faceted faces, but it would create a mess if left on any surfaces throughout our home. So my idea was to create a better looking pot to hold it in and allow for watering. In this video, I'll take you through the process of getting from here to here. So our first step is to accurately model the existing pot so that when we create a new pot for it to go into, it'll fit. The idea here being, I'll keep it in the white plastic pot, but hide that within something much better looking. Using my calipers and taking some of the key measurements of the pot and building up as I go. My aim is to do a revolve boss. So I'm just creating what would be like a section of that pot. Now, it is difficult to take some of those dimensions, such as the angled side, but if you take a diameter at the top and diameter at the bottom and the height, the angle gets worked out for you. Now, although this detail is going to be hidden, I was interested in retaining that faceted feature around the outside of the pot, just as a bit of a tutorial and to, test myself, make sure I could replicate that detail. That was done with a cut loft and then patterned 16 times around the face. Once I'd finished the pot, I already had an idea of the type of shape that I'd be using for the outside pot. And for that, I've taken inspiration from Hendrik's design. If you haven't seen his stuff, you're into 3D printing, highly recommend it. And he does a lot of great work on little 3D prints like this for mounting planters, which have a removable twist bottom for watering. Oof, very nice indeed. So I thought I'd support Hendrik's and purchase and download some of his files. To do that, I had to subscribe to his Fangs, and then I had access to his full library. Unfortunately, the subscription was a minimum of 3 months, so I'll try and make use of that elsewhere. The main thing I was looking for was one of his basic pots that I could use as a starting point, because I really like the geometry that he has on the bottom for that twist and remove. And then I would want to modify the pot size to suit my little white plastic pot. Unfortunately, all the files that he has, the STLs, and a few other ones, even the step files, they wouldn't import correctly. Now that's because he's using different software for exporting. I don't blame him at all. This is one of those things that happens when you're using external files. So my solution was to get the best STL I could, which was a surface model here, and then recreate the geometry exactly as he had made it. So I just created the basic outside shape and the holes in the bottom, but what I was paying particular attention to was the interlocking feature that's in the bottom faces. And as you can see here, I'm making sure I'm matching some of the fillets, the thicknesses, and the chamfers so that everything would click together nicely. Now there's two parts to this model. There's the top part and then the bottom cap, which I'm opening up now. Once I had created that model and created all the details I need, I went back and deleted the original imported body just to clean up my file, okay, and make it easier to work with. So recreating the detail in the bottom file, in the bottom part, again, straightforward. I'm using the existing geometry as references, but then making sure that all of my dimensions are independent. So independent of the original geometry, just matching it by eye. And you'll see later in the video how successful that was in creating the 3D print. So once I brought both parts together, they were separate, but I did a little trick to import one part into the other and then make the features unlinked from the original file. I was able to clean up some of those details to make sure there was some nice clearance underneath. Once I'd done that, I created an assembly to import the original pot, make sure that fit, which it did. Thankfully, it was a very close fit already, so I didn't have to do too many changes. And then I did some simple customizations to the outside to get a nice looking pattern. Again, inspired by Hendrik's design. The last steps here were to split that pattern and merge that to both the top and bottom parts of the model. Now, I did want to get my son's approval for this design before hitting 3D print, and I did that with a simple drawing and a keyshot render just to show him what it would look like. So the next day, after he checked that off, I sliced it on the Bambu Lab and hit print. That printed overnight, but unfortunately, some issues with the time lapse of the 3D print. So I couldn't show that, but this is the first 3D print that came out. There was only a little bit of cleaning to do on the bottom, but that first snap together, man, I was really impressed by the detail and geometry that Hendrik's design had put into his vases. So kudos to Hendrik's. And the fit with the pot, very nice. So I hope you liked this video, showing you the process, going from idea, modeling a part, splitting, referencing another, and then 3D printing. If you'd like to see the tutorial in full, please hit like or comment. I'll see you next time.